Hi, this is Sean Lafferty from Steinel, America. I'm General Manager for the U.S. Operations, and I'm here today to introduce to you our company as well as our DCS digital control solution. So here I'll just share my little presentation here and we'll get going. Okay, Steinel has been around since 1959, and our brand is really defined by innovation and quality. We really have excellent German engineering, which brings us lots of little innovations, attention to detail, questioning assumptions that other people make, and really making things just a little bit better. And I'll show you a few examples of those as we go. The second item in our brand really is the focus on high quality. We manufacture everything in Europe. You can see here on the map, we've got our plastics in Leipzig, we do circuit boards in Switzerland, and we do assemblies in Romania and Moldova. So all of this is tightly controlled by our German quality engineers. We test every single product coming off the line, and we test it on equipment that we design and develop ourselves to ensure that every product is within the tolerances, and it basically does what it says it will do in the cut sheets. Last and most importantly, also superior customer service. You know, we take great pride here at Steinel America in really serving the customer at all stages, whether it's in the design phase by providing layout services, whether it's in quoting phase or order placing. Orders placed by noon Eastern are delivered same day, generally through our stock in our warehouse in Bloomington, Minnesota. So we really take great pride in making sure that the customer is fully taken care of at all stages of their project. So I'll just quickly get into an example of our innovative technology, and that is the IR Quattro HD presence detector. It's a infrared sensor, but what we've done two things that make it far superior to any other product in the market. Number one, you can see here the lens design is a little bit bigger and square. Square lens gives us square coverage for square rooms, right? So if you think about the round sensors, they give you round coverage in a square room, leaving the corners exposed where there's no motion or where there's no detection of whatever motion there might be. Secondly, if you look carefully, you can see all these etchings on this lens versus this little lens here. This little lens here is the standard. It's called the Clader lens. It's used by almost all of our competitors, and really it only gives you about 48 points of detection. Whereas with this sensor, we also place 4 pyroelectric sensors underneath that lens, and that gives us 4,800 points of detection. So in a 26 by 26 room, we give you minor motion detection, meaning a teacher moving their arm as they correct papers at their desk, for example. That's enough movement for us to be able to detect them in a 26 by 26 square. So in a classroom, we can provide just one sensor that will give you minor motion detection, whereas our competitors will often give you 2, 3, or even 4 sensors that don't give you even as good coverage as we give you with just the one. So that's just an example of our innovation. So today we're here to primarily talk about the DCS, the digital control solution. And we believe we have the most cost-effective digital controller in the market today. Basically, we give you everything you need to be code compliant right out of the box. We use a digital bus to connect sensors, switches, and photocells. We provide you wireless programming, so you can actually use a smartphone app on iOS or Android to program it. Out of the box, it just works. So if you plug it in and you plug in sensors and switches to it, everything is pre-programmed to meet the highest level energy standards, Title 24 in California, IECC 2018, basically all of the top energy codes. That's where we've set it to be pre-programmed to work. Of course, you can commission it yourself and modify the settings as necessary. We can do preset or custom scenes, so we can pre-program them in the factory for you, or you can customize them yourself. One of the strongest differentiators in the DCS is the 3 independent 20 amp relays, where all the other guys out in the market, they give you one 20 amp relay divided across 3 channels. Why is this so important? Well, number one, our DCS can allow you to have both 277 volt and 120 volt circuits on the same controller. So if your plug load is running at 120, but you've got 277 specialty lighting in the same space, and maybe you've got some 120 volt regular lighting in that same space, I can split those off onto 3 different circuits, switch legs, using the 3 different relays. Additionally, it gives you a lot more power to manage an entire circuit. So each of those is 20 amp rated. So huge advantage for us. And of course, we can monitor current by each relay. So rather than giving you the energy consumption per controller, I can actually monitor the energy consumption for each of those 3 relays. Also, with those 3 independent relays, I've also got 3 0 to 10 volt dimming zones available. As I mentioned, we can do receptacle control because we're 20 amp rated. We've got multi-zone daylighting. We can connect multiple photo sensors onto the same controller. So if you have 2 or 3 or more zones of daylighting that you'd like to control, we can do that all off of one controller. The list of typical functions: min and max dim levels, hold off or force off based on the photo sensor inputs, partial on, partial off. We also have built-in demand response. So we know that's big in California with Title 24. And probably the second biggest thing after the 3 independent relays, we've got in the box an astronomic and standard time clock function. So that's included in the base package. The astronomic time clock, very, very cool. During commissioning, we'll take your location from your device and it'll load the dusk dawn tables for your location. So you can control outdoor lighting. You can either brighten up as it gets dark out, or brighten up as the sun comes up, or turn on as the sun goes down. So you've got options there, and integrated time clock function. We've also got wireless BLE mesh. So BLE mesh allows us to connect multiple devices. So if you've got a scenario where you have more than 3 relays, more than 3 circuits, if you want to go 6, you can connect 2 devices together, and you can combine those relays into a single switch load, for example. We like to think of it as enabling the kill button. So you can have one wall station at the back door of a facility that can span across all the digital controllers on the property and turn off all the lights at once with one hit of one button. So one switch connected to all the relays across all the DCSs. So pretty cool stuff. Last but not least, BMS integration. We do have a BACnet port. It's an RJ45 and it's BACnet TCP/IP enabled. So all that feature and function packed into one box. We've got what I would say is the most robust solution out there, and a very cost-effective price point as well. Little detail on it, I'll show you here. This is our wiring diagram. So you can see here we've got the low voltage 0 to 10 volt dimming channels coming out the right-hand side. We've also got this the data line. This is a non-polarized 2-wire digital bus. So you can use just standard 18 gauge wire, nothing special about it, no Cat5 terminations. You've got a terminal block in there, you just stab into the terminal block and your connection is done. No messing around with little tiny wires and crimping and all that with the Cat5. You just stab in, non-polarized. So if you stab, there's no opposite polarity, so it doesn't matter. You don't have to track red in this one or purple in this one or green in that one. You just stick your 2 wires in, and then you connect them to your switches, you connect them to your sensors, and you connect them to your photo sensors, all on that digital bus. We've also got the demand response input in here, which is essentially just a dry contact closure input, as well as what we call here, this is a port for an external time clock. If there is already a time clock in place, for example, on a BMS system or some other time clock, we can take input from that time clock and use that to override all the other settings. That is not in place of the internal time clock. I repeat, there is a time clock inside the DCS, but this gives you the ability to override that with an external time clock, should that come up. You can see on the left-hand side, we've got the three separate inputs here of the three different 120 or 277 volt inputs. So you've got your threaded nipple here to connect that up onto a junction box for your mounting. We've got a complete array of sensors for our line here. For those of you who know Steinel already, you'll know that we have some of the world's best standalone sensors. I mentioned the IR Quattro HD with its 4,800 points of detection and superior 26 by 26 minor motion detection. We also make a very cool US hallway sensor. That's our ultrasonic. And the cool thing about that is it gives you a nice 65-foot run in a corridor. So all these terrific sensors, I'm more than happy to spend time with you and go over those in a future session. Ask your rep or your regional sales manager to set up a deep dive, and we can walk you through the whole portfolio. But we do have also some neat new sensors, including the IR Quattro Slim and the IR Quattro Micro. These are two very small sensors with very minor, footprint on the ceiling. We've also got a standalone photo sensor, which is either closed or open loop. By the way, all of these nice digital controllers from the Digital Control Pro series also have built on board their own photo cell. So if you were to install the IR Quattro HD in a classroom, it does have in it a closed loop photo cell in the center of the room. If you wanted to add a second zone, you would just put a photo cell over closer to the window. Maybe you want that one to be open loop right there next to the window. So open loop in the first primary zone and a closed loop, which is already built in on board anyway for the center zone, as an example. Wall switches, and I'll get into more detail here. We've got a great set of programmable wall switches to share with you guys. The IR Quattro Slim, this is one of our brand new sensors, and I love this guy. This is one of our best products out there. It's got 408 switching zones, that's points of detection, so not quite as robust as the IR Quattro HD. However, that 408 switching zones is only in a 13 by 13 square, so you do still have minor motion detection, so think office space. And if you want to just take a quick look here, I can show you. This is how big it is. Very nice, slick design. You can see the right here. It's about less than 1/4 of an inch thick coming off the ceiling. Nice blended pattern there. Real nice looking design on that sensor. We have a great coverage pattern. Like I said, 13 by 13 presence detection, meaning minor, tangential, and radial. All there at 13 by 13. Really nice looking sensor. If you've ever come across an architect or a designer who says, I want small, I don't want anything interrupting my ceiling flow, this is the sensor for you. For us, it's only got 168 switching zones, which is still about 3 times as many as your typical sensor from our competitors. But it's not quite the level of coverage that we like to provide. You still have that 13 by 13 foot presence detection, and it mounts here with a spring clip. We've got these 2 flying leads for the digital bus connection, and you can see here it's got a very small profile here. And again, I'll show you that one live. This is how small we're talking. You can see there is the sensor. It's about the size of my thumbnail, if you can see that, right? So a real small sensor, about a 1/2 inch by a 1/2 inch, and less than 2 inches round here on the total piece that you're going to see sticking out from the ceiling. So really a very small sensor that I think architects and designers would absolutely love. All right, getting back to our presentation. This IR Quattro Micro is also IP65 rated. However, it would need to go into a specific waterproof box if you wanted to use it in that capacity. All right, let's talk a little bit about the switches. We've got a full array of programmable switches. They are glass interface. They're glass touchscreen programmable, and they're touch sensitive. What's really nice about these is the engraving is on the bottom side of the glass, so you can wipe these as much as you want. You can spray alcohol all over them. You can wipe them down. So in a COVID environment where people are eager to wipe things down over and over again, you won't get any degradation of the printing on the switch here, and it's full glass front. So there may be also some medical applications where you want to be able to do that, COVID notwithstanding. It comes in 10 different versions. I'll kind of flip quickly through them in a minute. But this one right here is what we call our 13-button programmable switch. We also call it the multi-switch. And it's got 3 zones. So you've got an up, down, on, off for zone 1, zone 2, zone 3. You've got a master all on, all off button here for all 3 zones. And then you've got 3 scenarios, scene 1, scene 2, and scene 3 that are programmable. The second one over here, this is our typical dimming, one zone dimming switch. You touch it anywhere on this spectrum and it comes on to that level or dims up or down to that level. You can hit the plus or minus to make it go up and down, and of course the on off. And then here we've got a four button programmable scene switch. These come factory preset for 2 zones, on and off, dim up, dim down, on, off, dim up, dim down. But we can reprogram those to be scene switches as well. We've also got, so for 1 zone, you've got the blank, you've got the on off, and you've got the dimming bar switch. We've got these same 3 designs in a 2-zone configuration. We've got these same designs in 3-zone configurations, or a 6-button programmable switch with 6 different scenes. I've already mentioned the 13-button 3-zone switch. We see this as a really well thought switch for many applications. This is probably our most popular switch because it really covers every possible scenario that you might come into. We can also do custom labeling. So on any of the switch designs you've seen, we can put a custom label on there. So you see the example here. We've got the bar, the entrance, the dining 1, dining 2, the all on, all off. This would be what we call our SS4 or our 4-button scene switch. And basically it comes pre-programmed out of the box. As I said, this button will be on and dim up. This button will be zone 1 off and dim down. However, at commissioning, we can change that. And we can also preload the commissioning. If we provide those to us, we can preload those onto the commissioning app, and a very quick and easy way to commission these. Finally, as far as switches go, if you don't like the programmable wall stations or you have a very specific need, we do have the ability to use a switch coupler with a couple of momentary contact switches. So these are Decora style and they come in a variety of colors. We've had a couple of places where an architect wanted all the switches to be black. So in order to make all the switches black, we just use the black momentary contact switch with the switch coupler. We can also do that with red for emergency applications and healthcare facilities. So it gives us a lot of flexibility and a very simple sort of interface. You don't have to use the programmable switches that maybe not everybody necessarily is looking for. The final point I'd like to make on the DCS is it is plug and play. So as I mentioned at the top, it's code compliant out of the box. You just wire it up with those low voltage, non-polarized, stab in 18 gauge wires. And basically it's already working before the commissioning agent comes. So really handy because on day 1, before maybe the commissioning agent is able to get there, you've already got it set up. It's already working. You may just have some tweaks at the commissioning time. These are the standard settings. You can pause and look at these. And again, if you're interested in a deeper dive on all this, we're happy to do so. We would love to have a deeper discussion. You can contact our tech support folks at tech@steinel.net or on the 800 number you see there. If you need a layout for your project, we do those for free. Our typical turnaround time is roughly 48 hours. So contact either the tech team, your regional sales manager, or your local lighting representative. And finally, you can reach us, our sales team, at sales@steinel.net, and the 800 number you see on the screen. So with that, we're just coming up to 20 minutes. So I'd just like to thank you for your time, and please let us know if there's anything we can do to help you with your next project. Thanks, guys.